Hey you guys, Steph here, and boy do I have a game to talk to you guys about. And what better time to do it than now? Because recently, Nintendo announced a brand new Paper Mario game, and people are going apeshit about it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and that's for the better. Or for worse. But now that Paper Mario is a hot topic, I wanted to point you guys into the direction of an amazing indie game that I've sunk a good chunk of hours in the last couple of weeks. Buga Fables and the Everlasting Sapling, an amazing game with its art style and mechanics inspired by Paper Mario. A game that caught my attention the moment I saw the trailer on Twitter, and with its console release just on the horizon, I think it's the perfect time to talk about it. So welcome to the Indiegrounds, the underground cave where indie games are the center of attention. Today we'll be taking a look at Buga Fables and the Everlasting Sapling. Let's go! In this game, you go through the kingdom of Bulgaria, where insects have awakened and become anthropomorphic. They have jobs, societies, and some of them are put to the test daily. Here we meet our protagonists, Bai the bee and Kabu the beetle, both skilled insects that want to become explorers. Bai for the money and fame, and Kabu to help people. They are sent to the snake mouth then to retrieve an artifact that can be the key to finding the Everlasting Sapling, a famous treasure that is said to grant immortality. Here they find a trapped moth named Leaf that has ice magic, which is fairly uncommon in the lands of Bulgaria. After that first adventure, you discover that Leaf is over 100 years old. So together, Bai, Kabu, and Leaf embark on a grand journey to retrieve the missing artifacts, obtain the Everlasting Sapling for their queen, and to uncover the truth about Leaf. This is my best summary of the story because as it develops, it becomes more complex, with twists and turns that will keep you on your toes. That rhymed. Everything is explained. The lore is very rich in this game, and each side quest develops something about the world or characters. Interactions and conversations feel so natural, and don't get me started on the dialogue, which is top quality. The soundtrack is absolutely banging. I swear to God I could spend hours listening to these tunes. If you don't believe me, hear this out. This is the theme of the first boss. The locales you go through are vast and full of stuff to do, with the same type of progression expected from an action RPG. The characters evolve during your adventure, getting stronger and learning new abilities. In turn, you feel real progress as the story unfolds. Haha, get it? The abilities in the overworld can be as simple as cutting down a brush, to generating an unbreakable bubble, or to fly over big chasms, and you have access to them by changing which character is in the lead. Buga Fables adds a bunch of quality of life features, especially in the backtracking department, where every major zone in the game is connected via a tunnel system, allowing you to skip wild sections full of monsters and go straight where you need to be. Movement in the game feels really good, so good in fact that the mandatory platforming sections are a bliss to go through. I sure had genuine joy doing platforming puzzles because of how good they were designed. I could sit here for hours talking about dialogue, characters, and everything, but I think it's time that we jump into the combat. This is the point where the game compares itself to Paper Mario, specifically the first two games. In this game, your characters line up and take turns attacking enemies. You use a combination of battle commands reminiscent of the OG Paper Mario games, like hold this button and then release it, mash that button, hit the button when it appears on screen, etc. But that's where the hard similarities end. You see, Buga Fables added so many great mechanics that make battles way more dynamic. First is the frontline buff. This is a buff the character in the front of the party gets during battle. The character on the front deals one more point of damage, but with the drawback of being targeted more often by enemies. This is a super fun way to play, adding strategy to who you want to put in the front. But this goes in tandem with the next mechanic, formation. Like in the overworld, you can change the order the characters line up, which is cool on its own, but you can also attack without order. If you want to start a battle by first attacking with your back row, you can definitely do it. In fact, you're actually encouraged to do it. The system is really flexible and you can do wild things with it. Our next battle mechanic is Relay, which allows you to relay a character's turn and give it to others as a second turn. Let's say you have an enemy with high defense and Bai is dealing 0 damage. Well, you can relay Bai's turns to Kabu, who deals piercing damage to those enemies. But this comes with a caveat. As the character attacks, he gains fatigue, meaning that subsequent attacks will deal less damage that same turn, which to me is a fine way to balance that mechanic. Bai, Kabu, and Leaf can also block incoming enemy attacks, but they added another mechanic to the block called the Super Block. If you block an incoming attack 1 millisecond before it hits, the damage will be severely reduced. And with the Super Block Plus medal, you can mitigate all incoming damage. After that, we have our usual mechanics like items and special moves, but these ones are like in Paper Mario that consume a resource called team points. These are flashy attacks that can have extra effects, like multi-hits, defense drops, or even freezing. Finally, there's the spy mechanic, essentially the title lock from the Thousand-Year Door, but 10 times better. You see, in that game, if you wanted to know how much health or weakness an enemy had, you needed to have a specific partner out. But in Buga Fables, any of the 3 party members can spy an enemy and reveal their health, defense, and weakness. For added flair, the text display changes depending on which character spied the enemy, and you can see the thoughts of every party member in the bestiary. Combat feels so great, almost one-to-one with the source material. But those little added features bring so much to the table that makes it just so fun to do. After defeating an enemy, you get exploration points, money, and sometimes they drop items. To level up or rank up your team, you need to collect a certain quantity of exploration points, or EXP. Upon getting them, you can choose to upgrade your HP, team points, or medal points. The combat system is also very rewarding and flexible, allowing you to tackle fights in a variety of ways. This becomes apparent against bosses, sub-bosses, and super bosses, which are super varied and fun to fight against. Sometimes you get demolished by them, until you change your strategy a little bit and mop the floor with their faces. Strategy is really important, and you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Outside of combat, customization is amazing. Like Paper Mario, you have medals, which can give you extra moves and passive abilities. Some of them made the game much more manageable, like Triumphant Buzz and Victory Buzz, which would regen HP or TP after a successful fight, the Antlion Jaws that ignore enemies' defense, and many more. These are purchasable from many outlets in the game, or be rewarded by doing something specific. You can only have so many medals equipped as medal points you have, because each medal has a cost. If you want more MP, you need to upgrade it in your rank ups. Finally, there's Hard Mode, a medal that you can get in the very first room in the game you're in. This not only makes the game harder, but it also rewards the player by giving them more EXP and money. But for defeating hardened boss or sub-bosses, these rewards come in the form of super strong medals, like Spiky Bot, that allows Kabu to deal damage by blocking physical attacks from enemies, or Bug Me Not, a medal that allows you to instantly kill low-level enemies by running into them. But if hard mode is not your jam, you can still pick up those amazing medals from the Wandering Caravan. Buga Fables was such a good experience, and I fail to understand how I didn't come across it when it came out. I play indie games weekly, and this game flew way past my radar, so please, I implore you to take a look at it. You are gonna be charmed by the amazing gameplay, great soundtrack, and more importantly, some of the most memorable characters I've ever met. Buga Fables is coming out on consoles on May 27th, and I can't recommend this game enough. I hope you guys take a look at it and give some love to the amazing developers that made this gem of a game. But that's going to be all for today's episode of the Indiegrounds. I hope you will take a look to Buga Fables. I certainly had a blast playing it, and if you want something to hold yourself before the Origami King comes out, I think Buga Fables is going to be a really good idea. I came to that game expecting something similar to Paper Mario, and I instead encounter one of the best games I've ever played. This is a game developed by an indie company called Dangan Interactive, and these guys are amazing. Or is it entertainment? I'm sorry guys, but I can't recommend this game enough. The characters are amazing, the music is fantastic, and the whole gameplay feels just like the real thing. See you guys very soon with our next episode of the Indiegrounds. Yeah, I stuttered there. I'm sorry. English is not easy!